Tonight, to declare or not declare a state of emergency, President John Mahama's Bole constituency becomes a hotspot for illegal mining activities, wreaking havoc on Ghana's Black Volta River, leaving it discolored and posing significant threat to farmers and thousands of residents who rely on the river for drinking water and daily survival.
Because the fauna and flora of the water is destroyed as a result of this illegal activity. It is a major distraction there. We also destroy some number of farm machines, about 9 of them. Just because I'm in the present, but it is a battle that he's fighting.
Meanwhile, desperate rescue efforts are underway to reach illegal miners buried under a collapsed pit, with 9 already recovered, 5 lifeless, and 4 fighting for survival. We'll hear from the Energy Committee, which is now calling on national security to ward off illegal miners and encroachers on critical gas pipelines for Gridco and the VRA.
The lines have been encroached total. So WAPO is even scared of increasing the pressure on the gas pipeline to bring us more gas into the country for us to use.
Is concerned to be the members of the Energy Committee. And therefore we are appealing to the national security as well as the military to take charge.
We have details for you here on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, connecting energies, and also by Shield Pension Trust. Into the future with you. Well, tonight, President John Mahama's Bole constituency has become a hotspot for illegal mining activities, with the Black Volta River bearing the brunt of the destruction. Now, the once clean water is now discolored, posing a significant threat to farmers and thousands of residents who rely on the river for drinking water and daily survival. Heavy equipment, champagnes, and pumping machines used by illegal miners have damaged arable lands as well. Now, fisher folks who depended on the lake for their livelihoods have been chased out, leaving them without a source of income. Now, the pollution of the Black Volta River poses serious health risk to local communities, including, of course, the potential for chronic diseases like kidney failure, birth defect, and cancer. Now, in response to the crisis, the District Chief Executive for Bole has taken a decisive action, storming the illegal mining areas and destroying some of the equipment used by the illegal miners. Rebecca Nantoma was with the task force and joins me with more details on this particular. Rebecca, thank you for joining us here. Now, paint a picture of how the Black Volta was looking like when you arrived at the scene.
Okay, when we arrived at the scene at Babato, near Bamboy, we realized that the water was very muddy. And it's so sad seeing the water that was mainly clear. You can even fetch it and drink, wash your white clothing. But when we arrived at the scene, the Black Volta at Babato has turned very muddy. You can't even see anything on it, maybe being fishing and other aquatic things in the water. It's very muddy. And when you touch it on your palm, excuse me to say, somebody may say it's a makeup, because how it has turned into muddy, when you use it, you can even paint your walls or your building. And that is why the DC have taken it into his hand that any machine the tax force is, they have to destroy it. And most especially after the time we got to the scene, we realized some people were still in the middle of the water. The machines were working. And the moment they heard the convoy, the sound of the vehicles, they started fleeing into the bushes. So as we speak, the water is very bad. You can't even fetch it to do anything. We're just hoping that in the coming days, the water is going to be clean. That is when the illegal miners have vacated the area. If not, nothing can be done about that particular water, because fishermen along that area have also vacated, because the fishes around that area cannot even have their own safety. So the fishermen have taken into their own hands that if that is the case, they can't fight the illegal miners unless government and the Bole district assemble. That is why they have vacated the place, because they don't have any other option than to relocate, leaving the illegal miners to use their machines on the water.
Now, Rebecca, you say that when you got there were some illegal miners, and when they heard the sounds of the cars, they started fleeing. Were there any arrests?
There is no arrest as we speak. Nobody have been arrested. But according to the DC, Abdullah Mohammed, he's saying that very soon they are going for another operation. And this time round, no matter whom you are, and you can't even hide on trees, they will make sure they get you, because he believed that those who flew from the machines that were still operating may just be on nearby areas. But because the task force doesn't know the bushes, that is why they couldn't trace these people to get them arrested. So nobody have been arrested. The machines have been destroyed, and other equipment have also been destroyed.
Okay, Rebecca, I'm grateful to you. Rebecca Nantoma there is a lady on the ground there. Let me bring in now the District Chief Executive for Bole, Abdullah Mahmood, who is joining us on the phone lines now with more details. Abdullah, I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining here. Now, this apparently isn't new, but appears to have gotten worse. Rebecca is explaining the reason why there were no arrests. What's the strategy then to try and rid this river of illegal miners and possibly arrest some people?
Yeah, it's a process that we intend to sustain for a very long time till we see that the water bodies are cleared. The government some weeks ago deployed some water guards who are dotted around the river banks. So we are just taking these steps, ward them off, and in order to sustain them or put them to duty, and they will be the watchdogs over the area.
So your water guards have not started work yet?
Yeah, because of their commissioning. But this, I went with them, and they were very instrumental in getting us the locations of these machines to destroy.
What's the assurance that tomorrow we will not wake up and see the miners on the river again?
As I said, it's a process. We will continue to sustain it as at when it is necessary, and we see them that they are coming back, we will continue to fight it. So, for the water bodies, we are resolved, and we are going to clear it off illegalities.
So were men placed there, are men there as we speak?
As I said, I just went there with the dissect to raid them off. And the dissect is in Bole. And from here to the place is about 72 miles, which obviously we cannot position them there 24 hours. So we will continue to monitor as and when we hear that they are in the water bodies, we'll go after them.
Why was this operation not undertaken by NIMOS? Because we were told that was to regulate how these, or coordinate how these efforts against illegal mining are undertaken.
That I can't speak to that. I'm in charge of the dissect, which are available for me to use. Okay.
All right. We'll see, and we will be keeping an eye on how this particular one goes. So thank you for joining us here. That's Abdullah Mahmoud. He's a DC for Bole there. But in the Ashanti region, desperate rescue efforts are still underway to reach illegal miners buried under a collapsed pit, with 9 already recovered and 5 of whom are lifeless as of the time we were coming into the studio, and 4 fighting for survival. My colleague Nanaya Jima joins us on the phone with more. Nana, do we really know what happened?
So the information available to us is that these people had gone into an abandoned pit. This is a pit that was abandoned by one small-scale miner years ago, and that is where the community have often gone there to for their gold hunt. So these young men were among people who had gone to the area to pick some gold, and unfortunately, this pit caved in. And a day after the rescue mission started, and this morning, the RECSEC, led by the Ghana Police Service in Yinahini, were able to retrieve 9 of these people. Out of the 9, 5 were pronounced dead, and their bodies have been deposited at the morgue. Now, 4 of them are still battling for their lives. As before coming on air, the rescue mission is still on. The police service and others are trying to retrieve some people they believe are still buried within this caved pits.
Now, so do we know whether they've retrieved more bodies or more individuals from the collapse pit?
Before we came on air, they hadn't been successful in retrieving more bodies, but rescue mission is still on. It's unclear when they will abandon this rescue effort, but they are still on the ground trying their best to be able to pick more bodies if there are people in there. But it's suspected, but according to some people who were within the area as at the time of the collapse, they claim that there were some more people trapped in there. So rescue efforts are still ongoing. Before coming on air, we're yet to get any community member reporting of a missing relative or so. So, but still, the police service and other rescue team members are still on the ground trying to dig further to find if there are still people buried in there.
Where is this again?
So we are talking about Kototie, which is within the which is here within the Ashanti region.
And we know that 5 of the bodies retrieved are lifeless. Have they been has a doctor really pronounced them dead?
Exactly. They were retrieved by the Ghana Police Service, taken to the hospital for medical examination to be conducted, and they were deposited at the morgue. So medical professionals have declared them dead.
5 of them. Interesting. Grateful to you, Nanaya Jima, there with latest on what's happening in the Ashanti region, where we understand a pit has collapsed, trapping some illegal miners. As of the time we're coming on air, 9 had been retrieved. 5 of them, as you heard there, confirmed dead. Meanwhile, illegal miners and encroachers are operating dangerously close to critical gas pipelines belonging to Gridco and VRA. The Energy Committee in Parliament is now calling on national security to intervene. Let's now bring in Collins Adumaku Mensah. He's a deputy ranking member on the Energy Committee of Parliament. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, you have been doing some work going around to check on these installations. Let us understand what you saw.
Well, good evening to yourself, and thank you for the opportunity. As you know, as part of our mandate, we are to have oversight responsibility over departments within the Energy Ministry and Green Transition, which normally will include the power and the petroleum sectors. We began to visit institutions within the power sector under the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. We started in Accra, did PRC, did Energy Commission, met Gridco, VRA, and then we decided to visit their installations. So we went to Akosombo, did Pong, that is the Akuse plants, went all the way to the northern region to visit NETCO and its installations, then came to Bui, and then finally ended in. When we had a meeting with Gridco, they indicated to us that they're having challenges with Galamsey, specifically had to do with their pylons. You know, most of their pylons are located in the forest areas. These are very tall pylons that host or hold the wires that transmits power from the main Akosombo stations to the other parts of the country. Unfortunately, Galamsey is affecting most of their activities. Indeed, they showed some pictures where Galamseyers had packed deep down where some of their pylons. Aspect is that whenever their officials or engineers and technicians approach those pylons on repair works, they are met with gunshots by some of these Galamseyers. And so it's becoming a challenge to them. And at Bui also, the management of Bui also indicated to us that along the water banks, some Galamseyers are encroaching. And I just listened to you having an interview with the Bole Bamboy DCE. Don't forget that where Bui is located is close to between Banda and Bole. And so I was not surprised when the DC indicated that some activities of Galamsey is going on, because they indicated to us when we got to Bui that they're having that challenge. So it is true. Galamsey is not only affecting water bodies. As we speak now, it is having a very, very heavy toll on electricity transmission. If we are not careful, we may get to a point where we may be experiencing doomsday, which may not be due to financial reasons, but mainly because of Galamsey.
So in Bole, we could expect the Galamsey happening on the Black River Volta to impact what's happening at Bui. I mean, how dire is the situation then?
Exactly the point. I mean, you've described it very, 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 very aptly. What it is that, Bui takes its water source from the Black Volta. It is the speed of the water that helps the turbines to turn in order to produce electricity. Now we are having a situation where even the color of the water is changing. Don't forget that the turbidity of the water also affects its effect on the turbines, and so they have a water treatment center close to the to the dam. More expensive for them, and when we went there, they have soldiers stationed at Bui, which also increases the cost of doing business for them. We also have the floating solar system. They are the first in West Africa to have this floating solar.
Yeah.
Now, the solar panels float on the water. And so if you have a situation where Galamsey is also on the water, you should rest assured that solar energy is also going to be affected at Bui. So it's quite a big challenge.
What explanation they gave you, did they indicate to you a possibility of it impacting how much they sell power to Ghana for, and therefore would then impact how much we pay for power?
Well, they did not even need to tell us that. Clearly, what we saw is an indication that the cost of generating power may go up. It's not just about the cost going up. It may get to a point we may not even be able to generate in the first place. Because when Galamsey takes place along the water banks, you should be rest assured that we may not have the quality of water needed to power the turbines. In that case, they will have to shut off at a point in time. That is the difficulty. It's not just about the costs. If we are not careful, we may have a situation where we may not be able to even produce in the first place. In the case of Greek coal, the pylons are there. Just that you may have power generated from Akosombo, but to transmit the power from Akosombo through their lines to ECG for distribution will be a challenge, because the wires, the pylon that hosts the wires may be destroyed, and so that is where the challenge is. And I think we have decided that we are going to really, really engage the relevant sector ministers to ensure that we quickly look at this particular national security threat.
So from where you stand, Ghanaians should brace up to pay more for power if nothing changes?
I don't think already ECG is requesting for an increment in tariffs. But if you read their briefs, they did not cite Galamsey as one of the reasons why they expect an increment in their tariffs.
But from what you've seen in the future, if nothing changes, we have to brace up to pay for more.
Absolutely. It's not even about paying for more. They may not be even able to produce in the first place. That is the challenge. Because if Wisdom is having challenges, it may not even produce in the first place. So we may not even get to the point of talking about costs. Of course, if we is not producing, we may have to fall on the IPPs or other thermal plants, which may need more fuel, which eventually may cost us more. That is true. But for now, I think the focus for us as a committee is to ensure that we prevent it in the first place. And that is why we are appealing to the sector ministers. And I know my chairman has begun some conversations. We will be making our reports known to the plenary when we resume on the 14th.
I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Collins
Thank you so much, my brother.
Adomako Mensah is Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy Committee of Parliament. Let me now bring in the spokesperson for the Energy Ministry, Richmond Roxon Esquire. Richmond, this is not a new complaint. What have you done about this particular threat? Okay, I'll try and bring in Richmond Roxon for us. Okay, Rich, I'm told I have you. Do I have you?
Yes.
Great. So I'm asking, this is not a new complaint. What have you done about this threat so far?
Let me say good evening to you and good evening to your cherished listeners. The ministry has taken notice of these complaints. Over the period, there has been engagement by the Honorable Minister of Energy and Green Transition, together with the energy infrastructure of this country is protected. I'm sure in the coming days you'll see that both ministers and the Ministry of Interior will be able to go around to ensure that they have first-hand information of what's happening. And some of the measures that have been proposed will be rolled out. Already, the Ministry of Land has increased surveillance. Ordinarily, we don't find security around our energy infrastructure because it's always been safe haven. But since these complaints started coming to, my minister has engaged the Ministry of Interior as well as the Ministry of Land to ensure that we increase surveillance and monitoring. These surveillance, once they are intensified and once you have system monitoring in high-risk communities where our energy infrastructure is stretching, will be able to give us the needed protection. There's also been some suggestions that these areas will be declared as national security zones. And I'm sure the government is taking that into consideration, and over the period that will be done. The most important thing is that the ministry is cognizant of the challenge and working together with other government agencies to ensure that regulation is enhanced, security is enhanced, tracking is done, and then there will be legal enforcement as well to ensure that these facilities are protected.
So do these protections extend to the ones in the forest, as the ranking member made us aware that some of these pylons are in forest reserves or forest areas where these galamseys are digging under?
Yes, the protection will extend to all places where our energy infrastructure cover. So whether they are in the forest, whether we are on water bodies like the station of Bui or Akosombo, definitely be assured that the requisite security will be provided. Over the next few weeks, I'm sure that you will notice that the ministers will take steps to visit these to get first-hand information. And then the work plan that has been put in place will be rolled out.
So as we speak, that protection has not gotten to all the places.
So as we speak, like the ranking member said, once you take a visit there, you begin to have a first-hand information of the extent of the damage. We had a fair idea. This is not the first time. You remember that Ghana Gas also complained, the CEO, and surveillance was increased there. And over the period, I'm not sure you've heard those complaints again. And so there are areas that these protections have been, but every now and then, once you have new discovery, definitely the states will take steps to ensure that our energy infrastructure is protected.
But in the ministry, is it all gloomy as we speak, or there's something happening that will excite Ghanaians?
I didn't get your question.
I'm asking that, is it all gloomy in the power sector, or there's something exciting happening that should excite Ghanaians?
Oh, I'm sure that in the last couple of months, we're all witnesses to the reset that is happening in the energy sector. If you take the power sector, you take the petroleum that's downstream, upstream, you look at renewable, there are vast improvements from what this administration inherited in January. If you look at the power sector, as of December 2024, we were shedding load of about 700 megawatts. In the last couple of months, there has been zero shedding of power. And that is why we all experience sustainable supply of electricity over the period. There's been several reforms, NETCO, ECG as well. In the last few days, I'm sure you've noticed the report from NETCO that the losses, which as at January stood around 47%, at the end of August stands at 32%. This is as a result of prudent management, collaboration between the management of NETCO and of Tamalani environment, including the traditional chiefs as well. And then we look at ECG on the lighter note. The recent times, a group that their eyes are hurting as a result of the stable power supply. Beyond that, we've seen procurement reforms. The saga of having over 2,600 containers sitting is a thing of the past. Investigations are still ongoing with that. Beyond that, just last week, the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, together with our partners from Korea and the Ministry of Agri, launched a program that's the Solar Food Nexus to ensure that you are having 1 megawatt in Dawenya, which will also supply irrigation and then also help with the production of food. The action is exciting. Not too long ago, the government of Ghana signed a $1.5 billion investment with ENI and its partners. Before that, there was a $2 billion investment by Cosmos and Jubilee. Aside that, we've had expression of interest from super majors. You have Shell expressing interest in Ghana. You have Chevron expressing interest. You have ExxonMobil as well.
Shell wants, okay, ExxonMobil wants to return.
Absolutely, they've expressed interest. And these conversations are ongoing. The goal when it comes to our action is to ensure that we deal with the declining oil reserves. From 2019 to 2024, practically nothing happened. But in 2025, we've had 2 successful drillings. And so, with all these plans in place, with the vision of His Excellency the President and the sector minister, you are assured that our energy sector will not be what we have seen in the last few years, and that we'll see serious reforms, and then governments will witness what's happening.
Roxanne, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Richmond Roxanne is spokesperson and head of communication at the Energy Ministry. This has been Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel Connecting Energies and also by Shield Pension Trust into the future. With you up next is Newsnight.
Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Well, this bulletin is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Well, tonight, National Health Insurance Scheme sets sights on universal coverage as it expects all illnesses to be covered by 2030.
Every Ghanaian everywhere can actually access healthcare without financial hardship. And by 2030, we want to ensure that we have universal health coverage across Ghana.
We bring you details as private health insurance institutions demand telecommunication service providers to hold provision of health insurance.
Also coming up tonight, cocoa farmers welcome a 400 cedi increment in the producer price of cocoa, but lament that the intervention may not improve their welfare if the government does not intensify its crackdown on illegal mining in cocoa growing communities.
We appreciate it. But the money has not been sent. They announced it, but the money has not been sent. So it's the old money that is in the system.
Galamsey is eating up our cocoa.
And also coming up tonight, Ghana Education Service takes swift action against a teacher at Okajokrom Senior High Technical School in the Oti region by interdicting him over alleged sexual misconduct with a female student.
Also on Newsnight, angry nurses and midwives take to the street once again to demand immediate payment of 10 months' salary arrears.
Why do you keep disrespecting us?
During the recent UN General Assembly, he made a statement that the slave trade is the greatest crime ever against humanity. I want to put it on record that what is being done to us is a modern-day slave trade.
We'll hear from the Health and Finance Ministries who say they cannot guarantee how soon the arrears will be paid.
We, as a Ministry of Health, will continue to work closely with the Ministry of Finance.
As to timelines, when your bank accounts will receive your salaries, I cannot stand here to announce it.
And coming up in business,
government promises to press ahead with programs aimed at improving the welfare of cocoa farmers after announcing an increase in producer price.
And later in sports,
boxing stakeholders vow court action against NSA Sports Ministry over unconstitutional takeover of the sport.
We got the latest of these and many other stories coming up in the next 1 hour. You can be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp. The number is 055 11 11 997. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
And my name is Ofori.
Details after this.
Money day, big money day, way too much money day. Telecel too much money promo drop. If you dial star 500 hash, then join them for the Telecel too much money promo inside. You will win 100 Ghana cedis cash for the daily draws, 20,000 Ghana cedis for the weekly draws, then 1.2 million Ghana cedis for the grand draw inside. That be 1.2 million Ghana cedis. You for just reload airtime, then get points with it make you win. Make you dial star 500 hash or go the Telecel Play up top. Then book inside riders give the Telecel too much money promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
This promo will be NLA where they regulate them for the Caritas Lottery platform top.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears. Bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
No. You look so relaxed and cheerful these days. What's your secret?
No secret, Kofi. I just sorted out my retirement with Shield Pension Trust. You should talk to them.
Retirement? A small time before pension.
Share. The earlier you start, the better. And Shield Pension Trust makes this so easy for you. They've got amazing plans to choose from. I even signed up for the Shield Cedi Crow a Day personal pension scheme, which lets you save as little as 1 Ghana Cedi a day towards your retirement. Isn't that great?
1 cedi a day.
Exactly. And the best part is, I sign up automatically on the Dachia Promoting Plan, which guarantees me medical insurance when I go on retirement.
Hey, you've convinced me. I need to sign up now.
Kofi is making a move to secure his future and health insurance when he goes on retirement. What about you? Go to Shield Pension Trust or call us now on 050-915-0253 and we'll guide you through securing your pension tomorrow. Shield Pension Trust, into the future with you.
Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. I repeat, or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valix Lease, affordable document management solutions.
It's
the Electroland Back to School promo. Get huge deals on NASCO LED TVs from 899 cedis, washing machines from 1,399 Ghana cedis with free iron on some models, AC from 2,799 Ghana cedis, TCL TVs with free 43 or 55 inches TV on selected purchases. Grab a Samsung 43 to 65 UHD Smart 4K TVs and get a free TV wall bracket. NASCO top and bottom mount fridges from 1,499 Ghana cedis with free portable juicer. Ceiling fan for 449 Ghana cedis. Grill microwave from 949 Ghana cedis. Garment steamer for 699 Ghana cedis. NASCO blender for 219 cedis. Tabletop burner for 449 Ghana cedis. Rush and get yours. Visit www.electrolandgh.com or call 0503 159 739. Don't miss out on these amazing deals.
Hello again. Let's begin with health tonight because the National Health Insurance Authority has set an ambitious goal to cover all illnesses under the National Health Insurance Scheme by 2030. Well, the NHIS already covers 95% of illnesses and the authority plans to absorb the remaining conditions soon. Well, the Medical Trust Fund will provide a financial safety net, enabling the NHIA to expand coverage and improve healthcare services.
Speaking at a stakeholder engagement with private health insurance providers, Dr. Victor Bampo, who is the acting CEO of the NHIA, expressed confidence that the goal is achievable thanks to the establishment of the Medical Trust Fund and the imminent rollout of the free primary health care.
Every Ghanaian everywhere can actually access health care without financial hardship. And by 2030, we want to ensure that we have universal health coverage across Ghana. Starting off with the NHIA as it exists now, we nominally take care of 95% of all disease conditions. So there's the Mahama cares, there's the regular NHIA, and then there's also going to be the introduction of the free primary health care, which is looking at diagnosing some of these diseases quicker, screening people, preventive medicine.
Let's go into the telephone lines right now and speak to Dr. Kwame Sapon-Esiedu with CDD Ghana. He's a fellow in public health. Doctor, thank you very much for your time this evening. Well, unfortunately, we've lost him on there, but let's try once more and see if we can get him. I understand he's on Zoom with us right now. Dr. Esiedu, I believe you can hear me. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. This is what the National Health Insurance Authority is saying, that they're going to cover all illnesses by 2030. Do you think this target is really realistic, especially looking at the current gap in our financial health financing and also infrastructure gaps? Kindly unmute so we can hear you. We're struggling to get to Dr. Kwame Sapon-Esiedu, who is with the CDD Ghana. He's a fellow in public health. Hi, Doc. I understand we have him back on the line. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I was asking that with an ambitious target that the NHIA is setting for 2030, where they want all illnesses to be captured under the NHIA. From where you sit, do you think it's realistic?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, good evening. It's not about whether it's realistic. It's about what we signed up for. As a country, we signed up to deliver universal health coverage by 2030. And in signing up to deliver universal health coverage by 2030, we signed up to one fundamental principle, that finance should not be a barrier to access to health at the point of need. That is the fundamental principle of delivery of free primary health care. So if finance is not a barrier at the point of need, then it means that no disease technically can be excluded, because you cannot say this disease is too expensive, and as a result, you cannot fund it. So the strategy then comes into play, as in, what are you doing to ensure that these diseases don't bankrupt your health system? Because that's the other question you asked around, can we fund it? But globally, everyone who has followed healthcare knows that the strategy that countries that have been successful at this have used is to focus on preventative and promotive healthcare, which means that you go looking for disease in the community rather than getting people to come to the health service ill. So, for example, you screen people and all that. So if someone is known to be borderline hypertensive, you monitor them. Once they get hypertensive, you put them on a medication, which then means that their cost of management is low. That is where Ghana has failed. We have traditionally, since 1957, operated a curative model of healthcare, where our system is you fall ill, you come to the hospital, you are diagnosed, and you are treated. Unfortunately, that model is dangerous when it comes to chronic diseases. And if you look at our current disease burden, which is doubling as a result of the chronic disease burden, that is why 40% of all our deaths are happening within the ages of 40 to 60 years, and only 3.8% of our population is above 65 years. So if the government is going to achieve that, then they have to roll out a preventative healthcare policy. So what do I mean by that? They need to be quick at rolling out the free primary healthcare policy, because that is where they are claiming that they are going to achieve preventative and promotional health. If they do that, then yes, they should be able to achieve it in 2030. Because 2030 is 5 years away.
And if they don't, what happens?
Well, if they don't, a curative health system would not suffice to cater for all the disease states, because it would bankrupt. Like I've said on numerous platforms and with things like dialysis, even the richest person, if you are told to pay for your dialysis and stay alive, it will bankrupt you. So if they don't roll out a system that goes fishing for disease states in the community, then the system is going to fail.
There has already been skepticism about the feasibility of this target, and of course, our NHIS was famously, modeled around the NHS in the UK, and a lot of times there's comparison between the two, looking at how the UK's own is flourishing, but ours seems to be, retrogressing as we speak right now. Are there some lessons that we can take from them or others who have successfully implemented universal health coverage?
Well, yes. The simple answer is the NHS has a basic slogan, from cradle to grave. What it simply means is that the health system takes care of you from the time you are born to the time you leave. How do they do that? I live in the UK. Once you hit your 40th birthday, you are sent a health check notification where you have to go and screen for a whole lot of things. That is what I was talking about in the outset about preventative and promotional healthcare. And there's a lot of advertisement going on about these things and why you have to screen and stuff like that. So yes, you would say that the NHS is more advanced because it's been with us since 1948 and other things, and they've done this repeatedly. But if you go to Brazil, they've also got a model called Lice Medicus, which also is a similar thing. But the good thing about systems like that is when you implement them, you do not need high-level health cadres. What do I mean by that? Like doctors and other things to run it. A lot of the time, because you are diagnosing early, you can get physician assistants, nurse practitioners and other things to manage a lot of the chronic diseases, even pharmacists. Because a lot of health conditions now which are chronic in the UK are managed by pharmacists. I manage a lot of patients when I go into community practice who are on chronic disease medication. And it's nothing extraordinary to do. But what it does is it extends what we call the quality adjusted life years. What it means is of the number of years you would live, your life expectancy,
right?
The number of times you would spend in hospital decreases because you stay healthy for longer. So the quality of life that you get as a result of the system fishing for disease states, that ordinarily might be hidden because they are asymptomatic. What we mean by, like, someone might have hypertension and might not know. And that's why we see a lot of people, we hear this thing in Ghana a lot. People around between 40 and 60 years. So there was nothing wrong with him. He said he was going home, he would be back, and next minute he was dead. The point is that the person might have had elevated blood pressure, high sugar levels, irregular heartbeats that they doesn't know. And all it takes is for one fluke to happen, and then they have a stroke or a heart attack or something and they don't survive it. But if you go fishing for these in the community, then you pick them up early, the people will be on medication. So these otherwise catastrophic health effects, which are, even if you survive, are very expensive to manage, are decreased. So the bill for the NHIS would automatically go down. That is what countries that have implemented this have seen. And there's a lot of data globally to support it, that if you do it properly, because your secondary and tertiary care costs are low, and the cost of primary healthcare management, basically when you say primary healthcare management, what it means is that you keep the people as healthy as possible for as long as possible in the community. So they are in their house, they go, they fill their prescriptions in the pharmacy, they take their medication, they do their routine labs, they are not clogging times in OPDs and stuff like that. The cost to the NHIS would be much lower. If the cost is that low, then what in return will happen is that they would have a bit more liquidity. So I don't see this as can it be done, because this is a global push. UHC is a global push.
Right.
And Ghana signed up to it. And so if you are asking me now, that is it feasible? The question I would ask you, or pushback I would give is, when our leaders were signing it, were the eyes closed?
That's a very interesting question you asked there, Dr. Kwame Sapon Esiedu. But thank you very much for your time this evening. He is a fellow in public health with CDD Ghana. Pell?
Well, Kenneth, speaking at the same stakeholder engagement, acting director of the private health insurance industry, Dr. William Omania Jakum, raised concerns about telecommunication companies offering health insurance services. He argued that the National Health Insurance Authority has not approved these services, stressing that such activities hamper the private sector's ability to penetrate the health insurance market.
There is a growing menace of some telecommunication companies partnering certain insurance companies to deliver some form of insurance that also includes a health insurance. These products that are being rolled out by these communication networks are not known to the National Health Insurance Authority. So the authority is sounding a strong caution to companies that are in partnership with these telecommunication companies that they must desist from entering into or offering products that has any component or semblance of health insurance.
Right, and away from the National Health Insurance Scheme, let's talk about cocoa, because tonight there's a wave of appreciation for government's decision to add an additional 400 cedis to the producer price for the 2025-2026 crop season. But farmers are already raising grave concerns over the continuous destruction of their farms by illegal miners. At the start of the season, farmers were earning 3,225 Ghana cedis per bag of cocoa.
Now, the addition of 400 cedis means Ghanaian farmers will now earn 3,625 cedis per 64 kilograms of bag. Speaking at an emergency press conference in Accra, the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kasiola Tefosen, said the review will help improve the financial well-being of farmers.
We have subsequently conveyed that meeting, and we are pleased to announce a new producer price to take effect from tomorrow, Friday, the 3rd October 2025. It is my singular honor to announce that on the basis of the changes that we have affected to the forecast, the government has taken a decision to increase the producer price of cocoa to 3,625 Ghana cedis per bag, or 58,000 Ghana cedis per ton. This simply means that per every bag purchase, the cocoa farmer is getting 400 Ghana cedis additional. Simple put, to the ordinary cocoa farmer, since my last engagement on the 4th of August to today, every bag you purchase, you will sell to Cocoa Board, you'll be getting another 400 Ghana cedis, or 4 million Ghana cedis, old Ghana cedis. 4 million old Ghana cedis. We also want to bring to your knowledge that Ghana Cocoa Board will continue to implement all the interventions to support the cocoa production and the welfare of the cocoa farmer.
But the president of the Concerned Farmers Association, Nana Boatin Bunsu, says the increment will not be felt until the government intensifies its efforts to flush out illegal miners in cocoa growing areas.
We first of all thank Honorable Atuforsin and then the Cocoa Board and then all the management team for doing such a wonderful thing for we farmers. But there's one thing that we need to look at. This is just a tip of an iceberg. There are a lot of things to happen because I know that the price will not stay like that. The price will go up again by next year, or maybe next year it will go up again. And one major challenge that it is eating we up is our cocoa is going. Our cocoa is dying. That is what the focus has to be.
And what is influencing the death of your cocoa crops?
The galamsey is eating up the cocoa as I'm speaking to you. This galamsey thing is eating up our cocoa. At the moment, we can enter a various cocoa farm that the galamseyers have been digging down. And the cocoa trees is been standing dying off.
Well, meanwhile, Secretary of the Asikaso Cocoa Farmers Association, Emmanuel Nojo, who welcomed the increment, says purchasing agents are yet to receive funds to pay cocoa farmers starting tomorrow when they bring in their cocoa beans.
We appreciate it because it means it's going up. Formerly, how we were expecting something big and it didn't come. But now that some money, something is added to it, it's going up, then we think that the government will be doing the same thing when the price is going up.
But you do have some concerns. What are these?
The government is supposed to send that money to the buying agents before they announce the new price. Because if the money is not there, and the farmer know that they have increased the price, he is demanding the new price. He's selling the cocoa for the new price. But that time they haven't released the new price to the buyers. So it becomes a problem. That's the issue. Because the government has to send the money to buy agents first.
And as we speak, those monies have not been sent?
The money has not been sent. They announced it, but the money has not been sent. So it's the old money that is in the system. As of now, I'm at a place looking for money to go and buy cocoa. But how much are they going to give me? The new price is not there now. And the old price, they can't even give me. The farmer will not accept it.
And let's bring you more on this because the Assistant Professor of Finance at Andrews University, Williams Kwesi-Pipra, says the increase in price will incentivize farmers to produce more and reduce smuggling to neighboring countries.
So an increase is in the right direction. So the 400 cedis, if you check, it's at about 12.27%. If you look at that one and compare it to how the cedi has devaluated between August and today, which is about 11%, it's just to be able to cover that kind of devaluation. And in a way, it's going to motivate the farmers to produce more, which is going to incentivize them to produce more. So remember, as we were talking to the Cocoa Farmer Association member, he was very happy and he was talking about they are going to produce more. The 400 cedi is going to lead to overproduction, and that is another point. The third point is that the price differential between Ghana, Togo, and Ivory Coast must be sustained. Currently, Ivory Coast, if you look at their per 64 kg bag, it's around 220,000 CFA francs, which is about 2,000 Ghana cedis per bag. So there's no provision for someone to produce in Ghana and smuggle it to Ivory Coast. If the price is just 3,600 plus. And if you compare to also Togo, where a lot of people also smuggle cocoa to, Togo's price is also below 2,200 Ghana cedis. So our price is way high. The advantage is that even those in Ivory Coast and Togo, if they are going to be rational beans, they will rather will bring their cocoa beans to Ghana for us to export, and they will get more money. So.
Right, so that's the Assistant Professor of Finance at Andrews University, Kwesi Prepra. They're saying that the new increment will incentivize farmers to produce more, and this is a sentiment that has also equally been shared by the Managing Director of the Cocoa Marketing Company, Wisdom Dogbe.
The sector minister has announced a new producer price with the aim of continuous improvement to the welfare of the Ghanaian cocoa farmer. Cocoa Board will provide more clarity on this, so I'll defer to them. That said, at CMC level, it's important to note that prices are impacted by market conditions. And when the minister assessed the market, the current market, he came to the conclusion that to better support our farmers, it is important to raise the farmer price by, he said you will get an additional 400 cedis per bag. And if you do 10 bags, that's 4,000 cedis or 4 million Ghana cedis, the old money. Now, this new price, coupled with security enhancements, that should help address smuggling of Ghana's cocoa across the border. His Excellency, the President, is also committed, right, to safeguarding the Ghanaian farmers' income while taking the necessary steps to address smuggling of cocoa. Again, at CMC, we will pursue the best market price for the nation, taking into consideration the farmer price, and we will ensure that Ghana remains competitive on the global stage when it comes to cocoa trade.
Well, let's go onto the telephone lines right now and speak to the head of public affairs at the Ghana Cocoa Board, Jerome Kweku Sam. Jerome, thank you very much for your time this evening. So what went on in the determination of these new prices? What happened?
Thank you very much for having me, and a very good evening to your listeners as well. I think that the reason that necessitated the increment basically is because the Mahama administration seeks the welfare of the ordinary farmer.
Jerome, kindly reposition yourself. I'm losing you.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, so what basically I was saying was that one necessitated the increment from 328 to 3,625 simply is because the Mahama-led administration is highly committed to ensuring that the ordinary cocoa farmer always gets the best. He prioritizes the cocoa farmer as against all the other stakeholders in the cocoa value chain. Look, in the determination of cocoa price, we basically look at two factors: the price on the international market as well as the prevailing exchange rate or the average exchange rate at the particular time. Now, since the announcement of the price in August, the price on the international market has been declining at a disadvantage to Ghana Cocoa Board and the Ghana government, simply because we will be losing some revenue. However, we are having or experiencing a slightly depreciation in our currency, also making us just kind of deal with the shortfalls in terms of revenue. Now, the government could have said that, okay, if we are having a decline on the international market in respect of the price, but having a slight depreciation of the currency, the prevailing price should be maintained. But because the government is always concerned about the ordinary farmer, the government decides to increase by 400 Ghana cedis. This cannot be said to be insignificant or patchy, as we have heard other MPP pundits or communicators say, because if you are having an increment in 400 Ghana cedis, at the point where the government has prudently managed the economy, we are not experiencing an inflation which would make general prices of goods and services go high, but rather stabilize prices or even cause some goods and services to reduce. This means that the value of the money that the ordinary cocoa farmer is receiving is very significant, because today the 400 Ghana cedis can purchase more than 3 bags of what? Cement
Sam, when you increased cocoa prices somewhere in August, as you've rightly mentioned, there were concerns that it was insignificant due to the sharp appreciation of the Ghana cedi. And indeed, you have admitted that the cocoa prices on the world market is going down. So is it to say that because our cedi has been witnessing some depreciations in recent weeks, that is what has necessitated this increment?
So what this basically means that if you are having an appreciation of our currency, which means that we wouldn't be having much influence when we convert dollars into our Ghana cedis. So this should compel the government to either have maintained the price or even reduce it, as we experienced in the 2016-2017 and in 2017-2018. There was no increment because the prices on the international market had even declined. We are experiencing same. However, the government has decided to do what? To increase from 3,228 to 3,625 Ghana cedis. This can only be justified by the fact that the Mahama administration is highly concerned about the development of the cocoa farmer.
So it has nothing to do with the recent depreciation of the cedi, you say?
You see, I cannot in that sense say that it has nothing to do with the depreciation of what? Because this is a reasonable government. This is a reasonable government that knows that, okay, another side is that if we are having a depreciation of our currency, it automatically may increase the revenue that we are having.
Okay.
Even though it has an adverse effect on the economy, where it could have pushed inflation higher. But for the good or prudent management of the Mahama administration, we are not experiencing the kind of inflation which possibly would have affected the income levels of the ordinary cocoa farmer. You understand?
I do.
So the government going in to make, of course, this increment of 400 Ghana cedis is something that you cannot downplay. It's something that you cannot downplay because the purchasing power of the ordinary Ghanaian farmer has not been devalued.
Some we've also been hearing from stakeholders following this announcement. For example, the president of the Concerned Farmers Association is saying that this will not be felt directly in the pockets of farmers and stakeholders if government fails to intensify its efforts to flush out illegal miners in cocoa growing areas. And also we've been hearing from the Esikafo Cocoa Farmers Association, who are also saying that purchasing agents are yet to receive funds to pay cocoa farmers starting tomorrow when they bring in their beans. So I want to pick your reaction to this quickly, both of them.
I think that in as much as I associate myself with the fact that we need to intensify to deal with the issues of galamsey, I beg to differ by saying that the ordinary Ghanaian cocoa farmer, when he receives money for the sales he makes of his cocoa, the person is going to feel the impact, the positive impact of the increment of the 400 Ghana cedis, because the person is being paid spot on. So you cannot argue that because we are having issues with galamsey, which we know that it will affect the total productivity that we expect, it cannot be argued in that sense that the farmers are not going to experience the positive impact of the increment that they have. And also, the last question happens to deal with the release of what? The release of funds.
Yes.
Now, when the minister spoke, he did indicate that the price which has been announced would take effect tomorrow. So if I give money to you today, or the monies were given yesterday, tell me, as a rational human being, how would you have anticipated that we are going to increase by this much? Hence, I'm going to pay the farmer this amount. So now that the price has been announced, and subsequently will take effect tomorrow, if after tomorrow you are not receiving funds to that effect, that is where you will have a cogent reason to say that the government has announced an increment, yet there is no release of what?
Are they receiving it tomorrow?
I strongly believe that, because today, I had the opportunity to interact with the Deputy Chief Executive, the Finance and Administration.
Okay.
And they are working tirelessly to make sure that at least funds are being released to the license buying companies from tomorrow.
Okay.
So that
all right. Thank you very much, Jerome Kweku Sam. He's the head of public affairs at Cocoa Board. And it's now time for business. And George Riafe is here with the latest. George, what's up?
Well, still something coming up on cocoa because government is promising to press ahead with programs aimed at improving the welfare of cocoa farmers after announcing that increase in every 60 kilobag by some 400 Ghana cedis from tomorrow. And the visiting IMF mission expected to end a review of Ghana's performance next week, Friday, October 10th, paving way for disbursement of some $360 million to Ghana before the middle of this month. That there are strong indications that Ghana will pass this fifth review. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, scented tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and charcoal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
At Star Oil, we believe fuel is not just a commodity, it is a lifeline. Every cedi saved at the pump is a cedi that helps a mother send her child to school. A farmer transports food to the market, or a young entrepreneur deliver their first order. Our mission is to make fuel more accessible by offering consistently competitive prices, helping ease the financial burden on Ghanaian households. In a country where transportation costs can consume nearly a third of household income, this is not just business. It's a social responsibility. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
Are you clapping? Are you giving God the glory? Hallelujah! Every day you wake up shouting, my business is not moving. Customers are not coming. But look, my brother, my sister, who are you deceiving? Have you smiled today? Do you have the confidence to smile? Your face alone is chasing people away. Yeah! We all know that the problem is not a spiritual problem, The problem is a dental problem. She was saying, use Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste to remove yellow. Somebody shout amen.
Craft your smile with Pepsodent charcoal. It removes stains and whitens teeth. This advert is FDA approved.
Lucky's everywhere for everyone.
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it, because the Luckiest Season 3 is back.
And I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
Or let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket can turn 1 CD into 500 times more. That's maths we love. Or your community go win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere.
Every mosquito started run away.
This advert is FDA approved.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, government has given the firm assurance that it would press ahead with programs aimed at improving the welfare of cocoa farmers in the country. This was after it announced an increase in the producer price of cocoa by some 400 Ghana cedis per 64 kilobag. There is more in this report.
Some of these initiatives, according to government, will include implementing interventions aimed at supporting cocoa production in the country, as well as the welfare of farmers. Some of the measures will target intensifying the supply of free cocoa fertilizers, insecticides, and spraying machines. The rest are free fungicides and free flower inducers. Government believes all these measures should go a long way to have an impact on production of the beans and help in achieving our target. In addition, government will be working with Cocoa Board to also implement the new tertiary education scholarship scheme for children of cocoa farmers in the 2026 and 2027 academic year. The finance minister announcing this expressed government commitment to supporting the Ghana Cocoa Board to build a robust and resilient cocoa industry that provides sustainable and optimal benefits to all stakeholders. However, this adjustment will not affect margins, fees, and rates to all other stakeholders, including Cocoa Board, as government says all these margins will remain unchanged.
And that is a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Dr. Atuforsen says government is committed to implementing more initiatives aimed at encouraging farmers to produce more.
We also want to bring to your knowledge that Ghana Cocoa Board will continue to implement all the interventions to support the cocoa production and the welfare of the cocoa farmer. In particular, Cocoa Board will intensify the supply of free cocoa fertilizers, both liquid and granular, free insecticides, free spraying machines, and free fungicides, and free flower inducers to the cocoa farmer. For emphasis, Government of Ghana, working with the members and the stakeholders of the Producer Price Review Committee, have decided to increase the cocoa price by 400 Ghana cedis per bag. I so submit.
And that is the Finance Minister, Dr. Atuforsen. Now, Ghana has secured some 3 billion Japanese yen grant from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency to overhaul the inner ring road in Kumasi. An agreement was signed today between the Finance Minister, Dr. Tuforson, and also the officials of the Japanese International Cooperation Agency here in Accra. Let's hear from the Minister of Roads and Highways Governance, Kojo, who revealed that this should bring some relief to motorists in that area.
The President of the Republic is determined to reverse the situation on our roads. The average person in our country is unhappy with the road near them. That is why, through his Finance Minister, my brother, has extensively to improvement on the road network in our country. Indeed, Kumasi is a very strategic town, city in our country, and the traffic situation is such that when you're moving from the south to the north, the obvious route currently is going through Kumasi. And the delays and the loss of productivity that everybody suffers by going through Kumasi needed to be addressed, even if you are just driving around Kumasi.
Governor Kwame Agboja is the Minister for Roads and Highways. Now, the visiting IMF team assessing Ghana's performance under the fund program for the 5th review should bring their work to an end next Friday, that is October 10, 2025. The team has already met the Finance Minister, Dr. Tuforson, and the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Now, answering a question posed by Joy Business Director of Communications at the IMF, Julie Kozak, said the team should come out with their verdict on Ghana's performance at the end of the review.
As you alluded to, we do currently have a team on the ground in Accra for the 5th review under the program. The team is with the authorities and other stakeholders. Obviously, the team is going to be assessing progress made, continued progress made under the program, and they will, the mission will conclude on October 10th. So I don't have much more to add regarding those discussions, but we would expect, of course, the team to communicate in due course.
And that is the IMF Communications Director, Julie Kozak, speaking at a news conference in Washington, D.C., USA. Now, based on this development, Ghana is likely to get some $360 million disbursed to the country. That should hit Bank of Ghana's account before the middle of this month. Now, this is what we picked from sources close to the engagement, as Ghana is likely to pass this 5th review. Two other stories. The Acting Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Audrey Amoah, has expressed renewed commitment in the Affirmative Action Bill. Dr. Amoah made these remarks at the official launch of the Toolkit for Mainstream Gender Responsiveness in Planning, Budgeting, Monitoring and Evaluation Program in collaboration with the German Development Agency GIZ and the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection.
This process gives us a fresh motivation to commit to the conscious implementation of the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act 2024, Act 1121. It moves us from the what to the essential how to. It provides our dedicated planning officers, budget analysts, and gender desk officers the step-by-step ways to analyze gender issues and incorporate them in the planning process, including monitoring and evaluation.
And that is the Acting Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Audrey Amoah, speaking about the Affirmative Action Act that has already been passed by Parliament. Nestle's Maggi, Ghana's trusted cooking partners, awarded 30 lucky winners in its grand final of the Double Chop promotion. Now, speaking at the debate to award these winners, Deborah Kobler, Corporate Communications and Public Affairs Manager at Nestle Ghana, said the promo, which ran from the 1st of May to the 31st of August, was aimed at rewarding loyal customers of Maggi.
Maggi organized this promotion because we believe And it is actually our firm belief that consumers make the brand. And so the consumers of Maggi are the ones that make the Maggi brand. And they are the reasons we continue to produce Maggi. So this double chop promo is to give back to these same consumers who make the brand. It is their brand, and so it's an appreciation to these consumers to say thank you for being a Maggi customer, for being a Maggi fan, and continue to be a Maggi fan because we think about you beyond the brand. And that is what we have exhibited today.
Deborah Kabla is the Communications and Public Affairs Manager at Nestle Ghana. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. If you are a shareholder of gold today, each share that they are holding was up by a peswa to close at 2 Ghana cedis, 45 pesos. EcoBank also saw some significant jump in the price of each share that one is holding, and actually was up by 1 Ghana cedis, 20 pesos, and is now worth 13 Ghana cedis, 20 pesos. If you had also invested on the market from the beginning of this year to now, you've made more than 70% return on your investment on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And for PM Express Business Edition tonight, we're talking about petroleum prices. And if you study the trend, it's going up. What are the implications for you as a consumer? We are engaging all those who matter in the industry, from the NPA, from the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, actually also from the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, and also the bulk oil distributors as well. All these issues wrapped up at 9 p.m. as we talk about fuel prices going up, impact on consumers, and the larger economy. And also on all our social media platforms at 9 p.m. tonight on PM Express. And it's time for sports, and I call him Invitational. He's in studio.
And I call him the IMF Country Director. Otoado has assembled his squad for the final round of the World Cup qualifiers. That will be happening on October 8th and 12th. So Jordan Ayew is leading his group for these matches. So Lawrence Atizige, Benjamin Asari, and Joseph Annan, 2 home-based players have been called up. Benjamin Asari, and the other is Prince Owusu of Midiama SC. Ali Lusedu makes a return to the team, having been out since last year. There's also a place for Abdul Fattah Isagu, who got injured during the African Cup of Nations qualifier against Angola late last year. Yes, this Gideon Mensah, Mohamed Salisu, Jerome Opoku, Kojo Prepra Opong, Caleb Renchi, Jonas Ajete, Ebenezer Annan, and Alexander Jiku. These are the defenders. Elijah Owusu, Thomas Partey, Kwesi Sibo, Prince Owusu, and Mohamed Kudus. They make up the midfielders. Abdul Fattah Isaku, Joseph Pencil, Christopher Babonsu, Kamal Denis Suleiman, Jordan Ayew, Iñaki Williams, and Antoine Semenyo are the players who have been called up. The players who assemble between 4th and 6th of October. The game against Central African Republic will be happening on Wednesday, 8th October, and we'll have commentary on this network.
We wish them all the best. Thank you very much, Muftar, for bringing us the latest in sports.
We are dying of hunger. We can't pay our medical bills. We are dying. JM, pay us now. Pay us now, JM. JM.
And in a desperate bid for relief, the coalition of unpaid nurses and midwives today marched through Accra streets demanding immediate payment of their 10-month salary arrears. Over 7,000 nurses and midwives recruited in December 2024 have worked without pay, sparking widespread frustration and demoralization within the healthcare sector.
Well, the demonstration began at the Afua Sutherland Children's Park, winding its way to the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Health, where petitions were submitted. Protesters clad in red armbands and wielding placards expressed their desperation and frustration with the government inaction. They spoke to my colleague Jacqueline and Somaya Boa.
Pay us. We've been working for 10 good months, no salary. Personally, my rent expired in 15th August. I've not been able to pay. My landlord is always asking, when are you paying? I'll be like, they'll pay us. Please give me time. I stay at Spantine. I wake up Kolebu. I take transportation, 42 cities to work every day. How do they expect me to get that money to come to work? You bath patients, you attend patients every 4 hours. I'm doing all this. Just for the minister to tell me that he appreciates the work that I'm doing. Appreciation, babe.
Right, and their first point of call was to the Finance Ministry, where they presented a petition to government. Receiving the petition on behalf of government, Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Ampim Nyako says although government has already begun working on their demands, there are no clear timelines on when the monies will hit their accounts.
I don't understand.
Your issue is being addressed. There are a lot of legacy challenges that we inherited, and we are working earnestly to fix all of them. In the next month or so, the finance minister will be in parliament to present a new budget. Issues of health, workers who have not been paid, not just you. There are even some doctors and others are seriously being considered, and you are going to receive your salary. We appreciate the work that you do for Ghana. And I'm sorry for those of you who are not even well, but have had to walk all the way to here, to this place, to present this petition. It will be given the needed urgent attention, as you have stated.
We can also listen to the Minister for Health, Kwabena Mintah Kando, when the group met him too at the Health Ministry.
I have family members who are going through the same ordeal. But not yourself. The truth of the matter is that we inherited 13,500 of you being recruited without any financial provision. Now, out of the 13,500 people, more than 7,000 to 8,000 of them have been processed and they are receiving salaries. Now, we have about 6,500 of you whose documentations are still being processed. What I can tell you on authority is that we appreciate the challenges you are going through, but we as a Ministry of Health will continue to work closely with the Ministry of Finance until all of you are paid.
Right, so you heard that the Minister of Health, Kwabena Mintah Kando, addressing the unpaid nurses. Well, let's take you to Parliament now, because the minority in the House is turning the heat on Communications Minister Sam George, accusing him of deceiving Ghanaians with what they describe as a sham DSTV price reduction. Well, Deputy Ranking Member on the Communications Committee, Charles Oredu, says the minister's much publicized promise of a 30% cut in subscription fees has collapsed into nothing more than a repackaged multi-choice promotion.
Just yesterday, MultiChoice released a new statement clarifying that breakthrough the minister announced during his press conference as a result of his effective negotiations. In fact, they said what they were giving Ghanaians were merely promotional offers. This clearly aligns with what we stated in one of our earlier press statements. It is also demonstrated that the minister lacks the temperament and emotional intelligence for such a critical role. He has demonstrated this same trait on numerous public utterances, insults to citizens and industry players during the process. By adopting an arbitrary decision-making posture, the minister is also denying regulators, such as the NCA, the opportunity to perform their work according to law, which clearly threatens the growth of this sensitive industry. Fellow Ghanaians, for this display of ineptitude, incompetence, and penchant for deceit, we of the minority demand that the minister render an unqualified apology to Ghanaians for the waste of the nation's time and resources on this venture. We call on him to account for the fines levied on DSTV.
And Pearl, before we go, we have one final story for our listeners.
Well, the Ghana Education Service has taken swift action against a teacher at the Okajakrom Senior High School in the Oti region in Fort Richard, Tibeto, by interdicting him over alleged sexual misconduct with a female student. He has also been prohibited from entering the school premises pending investigation into this matter.
That's definitely a developing story we will be following through to the end. And that's it for News Night tonight. Thank you very much for being